Max and Ruby theory. But first, here is Max and Ruby's parents in a picture frame or some shit. Here are the two images. Now the death of the parents. One day they were driving to see the dinosaur museum because Max would not shut the fuck up and asking to go to the dinosaur museum. Finally the parents said okay to Max, just so he would shut the fuck up. They were driving and Max was throwing a fit because he wanted the chips that was in the front. The mom said in a minute I'm driving. Max didn't listen. The mom looked at Max and said Max I'm driving. Then Max hit Ruby because she wouldn't give her food to Max. Then he was done with this shit and smacked the fuck out of Ruby. The mom said Max don't you hit her again, you are grounded, stop acting like a brat and apologize now and give your dad the dinosaur toy now. Then Max shoved the fucking Dina toy in her face. The mom said Max get the fucking toy out of my face. Ruby says mom look out. Max had the dinosaur toy in the mom's face and got distracted because fucking Max put the piece of shit toy in her face. They ran into a car. The mom and dad wouldn't wake up. Ruby was crying. Ruby got Max out of the car. Max was okay. Ruby called an ambulance. Then Ruby called their grandma. The grandma picked them up. They went to the grandma's house. Max ran into the living room. He was traumatized and upset. Ruby asked their grandma if their parents will be okay. The grandma said Ruby I don't know. It was night and Max and Ruby was staying at their grandma's house. They had their sleeping bags in the living room. Ruby fell asleep. Max could not sleep. He kept thinking it was his fault. In the morning the grandma had a phone call. It was the hospital. They said they didn't make it. The grandma was devastated and didn't know how to tell this to Max and Ruby. An hour later Ruby woke up, and she said is mom and dad okay? The grandma said Ruby I'm afraid not. They didn't make it. I don't know how to tell Max. We can't tell him. I don't know what to do. The grandma said it's best he doesn't know. It's not the right time. You will have to watch over him. Ruby says I will have to make something up. I will figure it out. Max and Ruby went to the house. Max said where is mom and dad? Ruby said they are in the hospital resting. Don't worry Max. A few days later Max said he is going to the playground. It's not far from the house. Ruby said okay, be back in an hour and be safe. Max said okay. He left. Max had enough of this shit. He went to the hospital and had his picture of his mom and dad and held it up, and the nurse said I don't know how they are. Max got back and said hospital. Ruby thinks fuck I can't tell him. Ruby says oh Max they got taken to another hospital. They are okay Max. Part 2 will be soon or some shit.